Good morning, class. Hope all is well. Today on week 2 at the 8th extension program powered by exponential computers in English language, prepared by Zainab Noura. Today our lesson is going to be on figure of speech. Figure of speech, figurative of speech. Figures of speech, what are they? Figures of speech. In common usage, a figure of speech is a word or phrase that means something more or something other than it seems to say, the opposite of a literal expression. As Professor Awal Kabir has observed, it is a sad proof of the decline of rhetoric that in modern colloquial English, the phrase a figure of speech has come to mean something false, illusory, or insincere. Rhetoric. A figure of speech is a type of figurative language such as metaphor, irony, understanding, or anaphora that departs from conventional word order or meaning. Some common figures of speech are alliteration, anaphora, antimetabole, antithesis, apostrophe, assonance, hyperbole, irony, metonymy, onomatopoeia, paradox, personification, pun, smile, synecdoche, and understatements. Let's look at them one by one. We'll look at personification first. What is personification? Personification is a device that gives human characteristics to a non-things or inanimate objects. The non-human things can be animals, objects, or even a concept. The human characteristics given to these things can be emotions, behaviors, or actions that bring non-human things to life. Personification is common throughout literature and everyday speech. It can add life, energy, and animation to lifeless objects or subjects. Personification means you give life and personality to an object. An object that has no life, you give it life, and what? You give it life and personality. That is what personality and personification means. Once you says, let's give example. You said this stone is walking. Stone is an object and it is walking. You see? So you give the stone what? Life and personality, because walking is what? Personality. Walking. no stand can work because it's an object. Are we there? Yes. Personification examples. Before we dive a bit deep into its function, it may be a little more helpful to look at a personification examples. Personification is used throughout literature, movies, everyday vernacular. Are we there? Some examples of it are: once we say personification is, we mean that it is throughout what? Literature, poems, play, or what? Movies. They are commonly used there, and everyday vernaculars. So some examples are phrases. The sun smiled down to us. Have you ever seen a sun smiling? You see, you give the sun life and what? Personality. The story jumped off the page. The story jumped up the page. You give the story life. You said it what? Jump the what? The page. You mean something, but you give the story life and what? Personality. The light danced on the surface of the water. The light danced on the surface of the water. Are we there? Maybe you have heard the press. The wind howled in the night. Howling is a verb used to describe the local projection of an animal or person. However, obviously, since wind is not alive, balls is a way to personify it and give the scenario an entire new dimensions and meaning. Are we there? Are we there? We says, however, obviously, since wind is not alive, balls is a way to personify it and give the scenario an entire new dimension and meaning. Then observe that personification is to give an object, non-living object, a life and what? Personality. It doesn't have life, but you give it life based on your statement, based on the prices and what? Personality. Then we look at hyperbole. Hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Hyperbole is a literary device used to draw emphasis through extreme exaggeration. Hyperbole is not meant to be taken literally, but rather understood as a means of communicating something specific. Exaggerating an object, a statement. That is what hyperbole means. Those who hear or read the hyperbole should understand that it is an exaggeration. You have probably had common hyperboles in everyday conversations, such as I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. That so signifies what? Exaggerating the story. I could eat a horse. Can you eat a horse? No. But you exaggerate it as if you are what? Hungry, so you can eat a horse. I have seen this movie 100 times. Sure? You see, you have read this. You have seen this movie 100 times. You see, he exaggerates the story, that maybe because of the sweetness or because of the likes you made to the movie, you watch it 100 times, which is not true. You exaggerate the story. Oh, it cost an arm and a leg. It cost an arm and a leg. You see, as how I'm feeling hungry, I can eat an elephant. As how I am feeling hungry, I can eat what? An elephant, which is, I can't eat an elephant. But just to give emphasis that I am what? Hungry. Are we there? Then examples of what? Hyperbole. What are the examples of hyperbole? Before we break down the many uses of hyperbole, let's quickly review some basic examples. As you run through this, you will be able to see just how common and effective this figure of speech really is. Let's look at the example. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Can you? Oh, I am so hungry, so I can eat an elephant. Can you? You can eat an elephant. But just you exaggerate the story, telling us that you can eat an elephant. Maybe the hungry has disturbed you so much. That is why you are telling us that as how you are feeling hungry, you can eat a horse. Okay, my feet are killing me. My feet are killing me. Maybe you work tired and your feet are so tired. So you says what? The feet are killing you because they have make you what? Stressful. That plane ride took forever. Can you? Can a plane ride forever? No. It can ride to a specific destination, to a specific kilometer, to a specific distance, but not forever. It's just like exaggerating the story. Maybe the way the plane take or the ride off, it says it has taken forever, just to exaggerate the story. Another example, this is the best book ever written. That means the best book ever written. It has shown you that you have exaggerated the book. Maybe you have not seen a book that has written that amaze you than the book you are reading. So you say this book ever written. See, I love you to the moon and back. I love you to the moon and back. Are we there? The pen is mightier than the sword. The pen is mightier than the sword. I have told you this 20,000 times. I have told you this 20,000 times. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. So we can see that maybe something has amazed you in your life, then you exaggerate, you provide a price, a reward that exaggerates the story. The story may be true, but you have exaggerated, you have added more information, more values, more prices, more things to it so that you can draw the attention of people. That is hyperbole, excessive exaggerations. So we can see that all these examples are what? Exaggerated. Are we there? Let's continue and see. As you can see, we either use or encounter hyperbole. As you can see, we either use or encounter hyperbolic language on a daily basis in our everyday speech. So what does that mean for writers? Whether you are crafting the next great American novel or the great Nigerian novel, a comedic screenplay, or advertising a product in a commercial, you will need to have this technique in your toolkit. If you are writing dialogue, for example, it usually helps to use language that actually sounds how people talk. This is just one way to make that happen. Now let's look at some specific example and applications. So if you are a writer or an author of a book or a literature, you need to know some of these hyperbolic languages so that you can be able to draw the attention of the reader or the listener. Are we there? So that he can listen and put more emphasis on your authors, on your books, on your literatures. Are we there? Okay, now euphemism. What euphemism is all about? A euphemism is an appropriate expression used in the place of a phrase or words that may be found inappropriate or offensive. Let me read again. Euphemism is an appropriate expression used in the place of a phrase or words that may be found inappropriate or offensive. Euphemisms are commonly used in daily language and literature to replace language that some may find displeasing. Euphemism language is commonly used in literature, especially older works, as a way to convey a message without risking the chance of it being bad or censorship for crude language. Euphemism example. Let's look at examples. Passed away. We said if you say he passed away, he passed away. Meaning what? He died. He died. Let's go instead of fired. Fired. Let's make love instead of a. Put down. Put down instead of what? Euthanized. Euthanized. So these are the part of speech we have in English language. So when next we come, we'll continue from where we stop. I remain Aminwa Suleiman, the presenter, but the who prepared the lesson is Zainab Noura. Thank you very much. For the recorded part of this program, for this lesson, you can be able to go to your YouTube channel, search for exponential computers. After search, you see exponential computers. Subscribe to the channel, then listen to us. We are there 24 hours to serve you. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I may give you a little assignment, but go to your comment section there. You write your assignment. You see your assignment and write it there. Thank you very much.